Good evening everyone and welcome along to League of Europe. We are here for F1 2021. It is Season 7 Division 1, round number 2 of the championship as we take in the French Grand Prix from the circuit Paul Ricard. And to all of you Frenchmen out there, bonjour, madame et monsieur. My name is James Head, going to be taking you through the stream, as always, here on a Saturday night. And joining me in the commentary box, somebody that is way more fluent in French than me. It is the four-time League of Europe F1 champion. It is NSX Montana. Montana, how you doing?
Bonsoir et bienvenue au Grand Prix de France. Bonsoir, James. That's pretty much it. Good evening, everyone. I'm doing excellent. What about you, James?
I'm doing really well. I'm a bit concerned that I can't see somebody's name in the lobby. Have you got that as well? Red Bull just above your name.
I actually can see his name. It's Nathan. But
oh, it's Nathan.
I rather would not see his name, but yeah.
Right.
I can actually see, and Issa just joined as well, yeah.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'm just going to leave the lobby quickly, and I'll rejoin back and see if that fixes it. If not, we might have to start the stream again, which would be absolutely fun. This is the first time I've ever happened a name to disappear in months, I think. Yeah, Nathan's name is still not showing for me as I've joined the lobby again. I don't know what we should suggest.
Ask him to rejoin probably doesn't help, right? So yeah, if it's Nathan, he's not that.
He's not that important. If it's only one guy,
if it's only one guy, it's not too bad. Then you can at least know which one is which.
Yeah, at least. I can see Neo. I can see Neo's name, so that deciphers the Red Bull slightly. But anyways, we need to run you through, of course, what happened last week in Imola, of course, and it was actually race of the season already this season, I think. Repaz, of course, taking the win, Justas in second, Rocco in third, and of course it is Repaz leading the championship on 25 points, Justas in second on 18 points, Rocco there in third on 15 points, Neo in fourth on 12, Verstappen in fifth on 10, Daniel in sixth, not attending tonight due to issues with his Fanatec. He's there in 6th on 8 points. Kumbloy in 7th on 6 points, with Nathan in 8th on 5, Jensen in 9th on 4, Dylan in 10th on 3, Campbell in 11th on 2, and Wouter in 12th on 1. Packer, Yildirim, Connor, Izza, and Nuth all didn't pick up points, as well as DNFs from Killer Blue, Marine, and Cantera last time out. And Repaz really took the fight, I've got to say. It is still a very open field, I've got to say, here in League of Europe. But Repaz made his stature, basically, as a possible championship contender this season early on.
Yeah, definitely some really impressive showings last week. Repaz, one of them, with a brilliant win and a brilliant tactic, but we saw a lot of chaos, a lot of overtakes, and a lot of close racing, I would say. And I think France will be even better for racing, as there's a massive straight with a big DRS zone and a beautiful overtaking spot right afterwards.
Yeah, definitely so. I thought you were going to say a little bit more there, to be honest. But yeah, Paul Ricard, of course, it is that circuit that really has, I think, a fantastic array of talent. But obviously, 5.8 kilometers and 3.6 miles in terms of circuit Paul Ricard. Nathan can see my name, but I can't see his name, which is very, very strange. Hopefully it doesn't cause any issues. If not, it is only one driver, so we'll probably go ahead, I think. And there was talk about him actually rejoining the session just to make sure, so that might be holding us up slightly. But what I can do, actually, is run you through the constructor standings as well. I'm all over the place already, I think, tonight. But constructor standings, of course, Ferrari leading the way on 26 points, Alpine in second on 25, McLaren in third on 18, Red Bull in fourth on 17, with Mercedes fifth on 12, Williams in sixth on 6, AlphaTauri in seventh on 4, Alfa Romeo in eighth on 1, Aston Martin and Haas rounding off the top 10, of course. Both Haas and Aston Martin didn't pick up any points at all. But Ferrari, 1 point leading the championship. It is very early, of course, in the constructors' standings, and that really gives us, I think, with Ferrari looking like they're not picking up any points. But that's untrue, because Justas and Pease are both here.
Yeah, two REL guys teaming up. Ferrari obviously looking like a really strong team for this season, but Daniel having Fanatec issues, which has happened before. We'll be sitting out this weekend if everything goes to plan next week as well. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully he'll be back again because he looked quick as well. But that's gonna cost them. I don't know how quick Peace is gonna be tonight, but we'll see. Maybe he can salvage some points. That would be already great for Ferrari.
Yeah, hopefully you can get a piece of the action, I've got to say. Nathan I still can't see in terms of his name. I think we'll just have to cope with it, I think, to be honest. But the Red Bull is in, and we're ready to go, I think. As I have been informed, I've just literally been sent something by Jav on Discord. Hang on, give me a second. Oh, I can give actually a little bit of, I think, honestly, it was done, what, half an hour ago, I think? But the Division 1, everyone's been voting, of course, in the LOE community for how they think the teammate battles are going to go this season. Campbell over Verstappen, 61% to 39%. Nathan on 57% to Neo on 43%. So Nathan thinks he's going to out-qualify Neo. Justas, 93% over Daniel. I wouldn't be so sure with that, to be honest. I'd probably be in the 7% there. Rocco on 75%. Dylan on 25%. Repaz over Yilbring, 82% to 18%. Jensen over Connor, 54% to 46%. Packer and Killaboo actually tied, 50%. Obviously, loyalty's line, I think, within both teams there, KVR and XL. Nuth over Kumbly, 75% to 25%. Ruta over Izza, 93% to Izza's 7%. And Cantera, 86% over 14% to Marine. Very interesting stat, I've got to say, by Jav. Thank you very much for sending me that on the fly. But Campbell is there, 61% Verstappen over 39%, and very interesting to decipher, of course, how that might actually be key as we load into qualifying, of course, and it looks very, very overcast, if not a little bit damp.
Yeah, definitely controversial votings there, but yeah, interesting statistics. It looks really dark. The question is if it's going to start to rain or if it's just cloudy. Judging by how people are rushing out of the pits, it might get wet, but we have to see if some drivers can give us a feedback. But I can see people are meeting, so I doubt it's gonna be wet, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, we will have to see indeed as the first cars now come out on track, of course. I need to get the telemetry and everything up in due course to see and decipher who is that first man out on track, and it looks like it is an Alpine of Kumbly. Of course, Alpine being the French team, formerly known as Renault, of course, and Kumbly there on a set of soft compound tyres. He's got the AlphaTauri of Jensen behind him. Jensen, interestingly, going for that set of medium compound tyres. And actually, looking at the results from last week, Montana, obviously we saw Jensen towards the front end of the field. In the end, he finished, what, 9th position? In the with Packer as well, and behind, and Kumbly, obviously. Kumbly outscored Jensen last time out. Packer finished 13th, didn't score the points. Them three, the first men out on track. This should be a very close qualifying session, if not, probably, I would say, 7 or 8 tenths between first and last.
Yeah, I think even a bit less, because this track is usually quite close. Not the most difficult tracks, mostly it's about tire temps. But yeah, Jensen seeming to be in a hurry. He's pushing already on the outlap. He's obviously on mediums. Did he invalidate this in the next lap? That's the question, because he can do that at that point.
I think he's fine. Right. Yeah, I think it was already invalid, to be honest, so might have just taken the sting out of the tail. So hopefully Jensen might be able to go on for this lap. It looks like he is. He hasn't got this next lap invalidated. You can see now everyone's slowing up. That's why we'll get the yellow flags in Sector 3. But for the first time around Circuit Paul Ricard, and for the first time, some Northern French going to be happening on this lap. Jensen takes us on the lap down and towards turn number 1, and then through, of course, the chicane of turn 2 as well. Through the left-hander of 1, through the right-hander of 2, nipping the curb very nicely indeed. Of course, he's on that sort of medium compound tyres. You would imagine that he's probably going to improve 8 tenths per second, I would imagine, on that sort of soft as he comes now through the left-hander of turn 4, and then through the right-hander of turn number 5. He's not looking too bad through the first sector. 22.2, you want to be sub-22 through there to have a very good first sector around here in France. And now, onto onto the Mistral Straight, and the Mistral Straight, of course, intertwined with Le Chicane Nord at turns 8 and 9, which, of course, he is approaching at rapid speed, nearly 200 mile an hour gain down in towards Le Chicane Nord of turns 8 and 9, and then through the right hand of turn 9, and then up the hill in towards turn number 10. And we've got to really try and get the fantastic run up the hill here. 49.8 through the middle sector from Jensen. You can normally see sub 49 through the middle sector there from some drivers. Jensen now coming through turn 10, and then through the double right of turn 11, and this is looking like a very decent lap, I've got to say, from the Shazoo man as he runs out wide coming through turn 11, and that is the first commentator's curse of the night as he invalidates coming through turn 11.
Yeah, Kuhn on a lap right behind him. Very unfortunate with Jensen. You can go a bit wide on the curve, but sometimes just about invalidates. So Kuhn will be the first one across the line on a set of softs. He was about half a second up on Jensen until the middle sector, which is not as much as I would expect, but you just want to do a safe lap at the beginning, really tricky with track limits. It's actually Packer, so absolutely screw me. So QBR 1, 2, 3, let's go.
Nathan coming across the line as well, and he goes into second, 28.6. Of course, Mr. No Name, as we might give his nickname, I think, tonight. Campbell, though, at the top. Nathan there in second, Packer in third. Campbell, though, is only 600ths of a second ahead of Nathan's lap time. It's a very good lap time, as actually Justas now comes in and goes quickest out the lot. So 28.5 from Justas. Very, very good indeed. You've seen something, I think?
Connor is absolutely flying at 48.9 already in the middle sector. He said to me before the stream started, he wants to destroy everyone tonight, but we'll have to see how that plays out. But that was rapid through the middle sector. He's usually good on tyres, so is he going to have some front end for the penultimate corner? Yeah, he is. Takes it nicely, getting a really good exit for the last corner. Presumably, yes, he does. This will be interesting if this is already a difficult mark to be beaten. It is just a 1/10, but it's still a good lap as a Vancouver lap. Not too bad from him.
Yeah, it's still within reach, I've got to say, pole position, I think. Connor, though, 28.4, very good lap from him. He's now out on top by a 10th of a second compared to Justas there in second. Campbell there in third, so the early lap times, I think, are done. Further on a lap as well, Killer Blue is invalidated coming through the final couple of corners, and now at Lack and Pont through 14 and 15. It's literally the only corner names I think I know around the circle. Nuth, however, on a lap, says it's purple first sector. It's a 22.3, so it's around sort of Dylan Izza's sort of lap time, I think, so far, in terms of the mediums. You can see really what it was on about in terms of being 8/10ths per second quicker. Izza there, 29.8, is 7/10ths per second behind Yulbream. He will inevitably go up to around Packer Nathan sort of area, I would think. It's around 5th position. But Nuth now on a lap running up the hill, 49.9, not as quick as Jensen as we saw on his lap before, of course, he invalidated. Nuth now coming through the right-hander of turn 10, and then through the right-hander of turn 11, of course, the TTG man, of course, also in PSGL F3 on a Monday night, which, of course, you can catch me streaming on Monday. Just thought I'd throw a little bit of self-promotion out there. Now Nuth coming through turn 12, and then in towards the slight right-hander of turn number 13. It's looked like a very decent lap, I've got to say, from Nuth at this point. He has got a McLaren just in front of Rocco. That's him coming into the pit lane just in front, as now Connor still leads the way in qualifying with nearly 7 minutes gone. But Nuth out the final corner on the run to the line. You can go wide there and pick up an invalidation. I've seen plenty of drivers do that in the past. Nuth then towards the line. He does go around that sort of Dylan Neal sort of area. He goes 12th with a 29.9. Not too bad at all of a lap. As Marine on 2 lap old softs, he goes 5th with a 28.7.
Yeah, good lap from him, especially on the second run. That's a good effort, for sure. Killebrew, the next one, almost running out of VRS deployment, also on his second lap, it seems like. So Cantera invalidating, but still finishing the lap, probably to get a delta time on the board. And Killebrew is going to do a 29.3, so P10 at the moment. Maybe not a bad position when you are thinking about the alternate strategy.
Probably could have improved a good 10th of a second, I think, there. He didn't use any actual deployment running down the straight. Obviously, he was very low, like you mentioned, Montana, on deployment. Killebrew there in 10th, 29.3. He's around 2.5 tenths off on Yulbream. But, inevitably, as the track begins to obviously evolve as the session goes on, we expect it to be dry within qualifying. I wouldn't see any rainfall. You never know, though. This is France. and there is normally rain. Connor out on top, Justas in second, Campbell in third, Nathan there in fourth, and Marine rounding off the top 5. Just seeing if there's anybody else on the lap. Cantera was on the lap. He's invalidated, however, coming through the middle sector. So Cantera now coming through the right hander of turn 11, invalidated, probably going to go in the pit lane as he's got very low fuel. Verstappen, however, starting up on a lap, coming through now turns 1 and 2. And let's see what Verstappen can do on this lap. Of course, his teammate there, and Campbell in third. Verstappen was very good in qualifying last week, if my mind serves me right. Now coming through 3 and 4, not looking too bad, taking too much curb, just degrades a bit of the speed away. Now opens it up for 5, and it's a purple first sector, 21.7 through the first sector.
Yeah, really clean first sector. You don't want to over push anything, but there's so much time to gain, and especially in the first chicane when you hit it right. And now it's just a long straight. When a chicane where you can cut the first bit a little bit. You can cut even more than that, and then you want to optimize the exit here. There's another long straight coming up. Not opting to take a little bit of slipstream off his staying on his line. 48.9, yeah? That should put him in the mix for P3-ish. So around his teammate Campbell maybe. We'll see if his front tyres hold on. Maybe gets a bit distracted by the car head. No dirt here in influence though. But yeah, moves it nicely through the long corners. Really difficult to nail it and carry the speed through it. You need a good setup and need to prepare yourself for that. And is he going to have any front tyres left? Bit more understeer than Connor it seems like, but just about fine. Gets it turned in nicely and should put him about P3-ish, if I'm not mistaken.
Let's see as he comes to the line.
Oh.
P2! Wow! Good improvement in the final sector as well, 28.4, and he goes 400s quicker than Justas. However, Justas is 900s up in the first sector with nearly a 21.6 coming through the first sector, so nearly a sub, a mid-21, I should say, through the first sector. But Justas now coming through the chicane node of turn 8 and turn 9. It's Conrad on top, Verstappen second, Justas in third. We're halfway through qualifying. We should see more improvements as we go along the session. But I'm above with Justas on the run up towards turn 8. And look at that, 48.8 through the middle sector. Justas on an absolute fly of a lap here, of course. Second last time out in Imola for the round 1 of the championship, of course, in season 7. Justas now coming through the double right at turn 11. Just degrades some of the speed away, I've got to say. Didn't look quick through there. And now coming through turn 12, he's got to try and open up the speed on the exit of the corner, and he does that massively, massively well. Better than what I would do it in my league racing career. Justas now coming through as Neo was just getting out of the way to the right hand side, on through Palak and then through Pont at turn 15. Justas is now on the limit, on the run to the line. Connor out on top, Verstappen second. Nathan, by the way, did improve, I think, on that lap, and Justas even improves a lot quicker, 28.3, and he goes on to pole position for now. Connor's 8,000s down. Campbell, however, has just gone second with a 2/10 improvement.
Yeah. Now it's pressure on Connor. Is he going to improve through the middle sector? Was quite clean the lap before. Just about up, so he needs to find time in the last sector. Was purple through the middle. He's running a bit lower downforce than most people, I would say. I'm just dragging down the top speeds now of people, so we have a bit more of a clue how the setups compare. But Connor now the man to watch in the last sector here. Also hits apex beautifully. Always looks so calm while driving. Not much going on. Really effortless. Now, again, not really hitting up the curb nicely. Staying in third gear as he usually does. Just about keeps it within the track limits. And it's gonna be close.
Ooh.
It is provisional pole position. He found the time in the last sector again.
Yeah, 28.2, very good lap as we see now. Connor just taking the escape run. Yulbream, by the way, I was half riding on board with Yulbream's laptop, and I didn't pick up his final sector because we were too busy riding on board with Connor. But Yulbream there has gone fourth, 28.4, and he improved 6-7 tenths of a second on that lap. So that's just the difference between a set of mediums and a set of soft compound tyres. And I mean, if you look on board with Rocco now, he's nearly a second up coming through the middle sector. So this will, in theory, put him around Jensen P's sort of area, but you should expect Rocco to try and improve on this lap time. He's going to be some way off, I think, Connor and Justas' time, but now Rocco on the run to the line,
he's slowing down.
He backs off, he goes 13th.
He wants to go P11.
I'm not surprised.
I think he knows there's nothing to gain from him. He doesn't have really the pace usually around here, so he might just gamble on an alternative strategy, and why not? It worked out last time for him.
Nuth coming around the final couple of corners as well. He was saying in the comment section that old Strat shenanigans, here I come. Well, he's on that sort of soft compound tyre now in qualifying. Let's see what he can do as Nuth now runs to the line. He goes 7th behind Nathan, and it's a good 2/10 gap actually between Nathan and Nuth. So Nuth there goes 7th. He's best of the rest, you could call it at the minute. It's Conrad on top though. Justas in 2nd, Campbell 3rd, Yildirim in 4th. Just trying to see if there's anybody else improving. Marine is up by a 10th in the final sector. Now coming through Pont at turn 15. And let's see if he can try and improve, of course, in the Haas. Had a good outing last time out, of course, in Imola. And now Marine on the run to the line. Is he going to try and improve? I'm reporting 9-0 at 28.5. 2/10 improvement. And he filters into that 2/10 gap that was separated between Nathan and Nuth. So not a bad lap there at all by the Dutchman.
Yeah, he seems to be on pace tonight. Didn't expect him too much. I don't know him too much, actually, from league racing. But he seems to be finding his foot well in Division 1 so far.
Yeah, definitely so. As I just try and fidget to get a drink. Killer Blue now coming into the pit lane. I thought he was actually improving on this lap. Killer Blue, though, is into the pit lane. I think Rocker was also in. Wouter is the only man, apart from Cantera, of course, not at a lap time. And now Wouter now coming through turn 4 and then through the right-hander of turn 5. We'll see what his first sector is like. 21.8 through the first sector is not too bad. He got very sketchy, though, coming out of turn 5 and then through 6. But Wouter now on a lap, on the run down the Meat Stroll Straight, on the run down and towards the chicane node. We'll see what his with his top line speed is basically going to be. It's around 200 mile an hour going into the chicane node at turn 8 and then through turn 9 he invalidates, coming to the left-hander of turn 8. And Wouter now will not get another lap time in. Still plenty of time though for him to possibly get 2 laps in.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Pit lane is usually really slow here, but you probably go for 1 run on mediums or softs, depending on what you opt for. Probably the easiest way is to go on softs, just get a safe lap in. But now he's under big pressure because you don't want to be starting in the back of a DRS train track, really. As we see the Alpha Tauris making their way out of the pits together a bit closely, I have to say so. As Repas is in the lap, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
Repaz is on a lap. Yeah, he's coming through turn 7 and then through the right-hander, on towards the chicane node at turns 8 and 9. We'll pick on board with them now. I think Izza was going to start up on the lap as well, just in behind. He's going to be probably the next one to come across the line on an actual lap. But Repaz now coming through the right-hander of turn 9, of course, championship leader, very tight to the apex there. I've got to be honest, it's not looking that quick through the middle sector. 48.9, it is sub 49, but he wants to be trying improving a little bit quicker than that, and we'll see what his final sector is going to lie up in now, coming through the right-hander of turn 11, and he just had to try and snatch down the gear there slightly, gets the car rotated in nicely, and then through the left-hander of turn 12. It's not looking too bad at all from Repaz. As soon as I say that, he catches the curb, and probably that's going to be him either into the pit lane or certainly starting up on another lap. In fact, he's continuing on, so we'll continue on as he comes through 14 and 15. How much time has he lost, though, as a result of that curb snatch coming through turn 12? We'll find out now as Repaz on the run to the line. 28.8, and he is on the bubble in 10th position. But if he didn't catch that curb, probably going to be a lot quicker as the sun now begins to filter through the clouds, which means track is going to evolve and we're probably going to see a quicker pole position lap time.
Yeah, that's probably it for Repaz, unless he's got 1 more lap of fuel to go for another quality run, but that will absolutely destroy his tyres and they'll not be that great anymore, so I don't think we'll see another lap from him, to be honest.
Red Bull's getting a little bit of slipstream there. Neo giving Nathan slipstream. He's a 10th up through the middle sector as Nathan. He now comes through the right-hander of turn 11 and then through the left-hander of turn 12. Of course, Nathan is Mr. No Name here tonight if you are just tuning into the stream. Looks like I've got a little bit of a glitch on my end. It's not causing any glitches within the lobby, which is good, as now Nathan comes through Lack and Pont of turns 14 and 15. Conrad on top. He's also on a lap as well, coming through the first sector. But now Nathan on the final corner. I tell you what, this could be pole position. Nathan now on the run to the line. Is he going to defeat Connor? No, I can even close. 28.4. I got too far ahead of myself, I think, with that one. Nathan there in 5th. Connor, however, through the first sector is a 10th up.
Oh. Yeah, that's massive. He needs to just put the lap in and then put the pressure on Justas and Campbell, or starting lap behind. Don't forget Showrim, usually quick around you as well. So people start the final laps now. I think Jensen is the next one, but he invalidated his lap. It'll be interesting to see if he's still going for it, so probably have to pull the tires down before going further again.
Yeah, definitely so. Packer is there, also someone on that. I'm going to ride on board with Connor, though. He's through the middle sector. He's actually lost time in the middle sector slightly. 600s up through the middle sector. He's got to try and find a very good final sector here as Connor. The Brit, of course, leading the way in terms of qualifying so far. Justas in second, Campbell in third. Everyone now starting up on their final laps. Jensen is into the pit lane. That's him done for the session. By the looks of it, he's retired in the pit lane. So Connor now coming through Lack and Ponce of turn 14 and 15. Can he improve? Can he find a bit more time ahead of Justas there in second? Connor slides out of the final corner. It's looking quick though. Connor now on the run to the line. I might barely improve on the run to the line. He does barely improve. It's 200th improvement. Not enough, I don't think, to secure a pole. Justas is invalid coming to the end of the first sector. Campbell's coming down the Mistral straight as well as Yilbream, who's invalidated. Nathan is off a lap. Verstappen is invalidated. Moran is invalidated. Nuth is invalidated. Packer is finished on his lap. Koen Bly, however, 2.5 tenths up through the middle sector. Could we see a shock here from the Dutchman coming through turn 12?
Yeah, people making the mistakes and the pressure it's so hard to put the lap together in front, especially with the track limits. Koen, the next one to really come across the line, I think. What about Peace? Peace actually just ahead of him. Puts it into P9. That's a great effort. Important for Ferrari. And Koen, the next one, puts it into P10.
Yeah, not bad at all. We'll see what Campbell's doing. Campbell's coming through the final corner. He's really fighting the car coming through the final corner. And do you know what? This is not too far off pole position at all. Campbell on the run to the line. Can the Scotsman do it to the line? No, he falls short by 200ths of a second in the end. Wow, oh wow, what a lap time. Verstappen in the end is not on a lap either. Moran is invalidated. Anybody else improving? Nuth has spun coming through turn 12. I think he was already invalid. Packer is invalid. Cantera and Wooter, the only two I think that are actually on lap. So down in 19th and 20th, are they going to get within the top 10? Are they going to get into the bottom half of the field? Cantera now out of the final corner. He's nowhere near pole position here, Cantera. He's going to be probably around Killer Blue Jensen sort of area on the run to the line, and he is actually right in between them both. Goodness me, as Wooter goes 12th. That is the end of qualifying. It is Connor out on top by the bare thinnest of margins, 200ths of a second ahead of Campbell in second, Justas in third, but I said that first to last would be covered by about 8 tenths of a second. Apart from Izza and Dylan, who really didn't get representative lap times in there down in 19th and 20th. Connor to Jensen, so AlphaTauri to AlphaTauri, separated by 7 tenths per second.
Yeah, very cold there, and we see beautiful gaps again in the top 10 especially. The battle for P1 is going to be mad, because no one is going to break the DRS. Rotan done some top speed, so we'll be mentioning them through the race. But people seem to run a quite similar setup so far. But again, I think it's Connor on top, like last week.
It is Connor on top like last week, of course. We saw what happened to Connor, of course, last week. Are we going to see that happen again? Or is this the time where the tide turns and Connor puts on a winning performance and possibly a championship winning performance as well? You can take us through the top half of the field as well as the bottom half, because I haven't got the grid order coming up.
Sure. We've got Connor on top, Campbell in second, Justas in third, all separated by 600s only. Then we've got Yilbream, Nathan, Verstappen, the Pad Army, Moraine with a good qualifying, Neo in P8, Peace P9, Koen P10. Nuth in pole position from the reverse strategy. Guys, then Wooter, Packer, Repass, and I can't scroll down for some reason.
I think it's because the 30-second countdown has just literally ended. But
yep,
we have got 20 drivers here. Unfortunately, it seems I've been having a little bit of glitch. I think I had that last week as well, if I'm not mistaken, in qualifying. So hopefully that is going to be the case. Nathan, by the way, reporting that it's all okay from his end, as is the weather. It is beautiful blue skies and sunshine here, mirroring, of course, what happened in real life in the 2021 French Grand Prix. And who won the French Grand Prix in real life?
I think it was Max Verstappen with the cheeky strategy of stopping and Perez helping him. Was that right? Yeah, I think Verstappen won it with a recovery drive, pitting one more time than Lewis and then catching up to him.
It was indeed. Yeah, Verstappen, of course, Circuit Paul Ricard, in its current French Grand Prix inauguration, been here since 2018. Previously, it was 1990, the last Grand Prix held here, where, from 1988 to 1990, Alain Prost, the French legend, of course, of Formula 1, and multiple winning drivers champion as well, finished first in all three of those races in 1988, 99, and 88, 89 and 90 I should say. Formation up now beginning here for our Sim Racing French Grand Prix, and interesting strategies further down the field. I thought majority of guys would have gone for a set of medium compounded tyres, but I'm wrong, because the top 10 go on that set of soft compounded tyres. Everyone else, pretty much a 60-40 split in favour of hards. Nuth, Packer, Rocco, Killer Blue, Cantera and Dylan all on hards. Wouter, Repaz, Jensen and Izza all on a set of medium compounded tyres. I'm very surprised. That gives me the sense, possibly, there could be something lurking later on in this race.
Either that, or people are just gambling a lot and want to stay as long as possible for a safety car. Also, hard tyre is a valuable tyre on this track in comparison to other tracks. You can use it. It's not the quickest, but it doesn't overheat, and that's a crucial bit in the race. The heavy car, a front heavy car, you want the fronts to stay as cool as possible, especially through the last sector. So we might see some soft guys struggling early on, and the hards coming into play as well.
Yeah, definitely so. Jav, by the way, in the comment section saying Connor, Campbell and Justas, nothing will change, he says. He is that adamant, I think, in terms of the prediction. See, of course, if Mr. Statsman gets that right, of course. Connor, though, out on top, Campbell second, Justas in third. In terms of the predicted pit stop strategy, we've seen a two-stop strategy just pop up there in the AWS graphics. Drivers here, I've commentated around France on this game before, and drivers around here might be pitting from around lap 4, lap 5, if they feel they can try and make the tyres on a one-stop on a set of mediums towards the end of the race.
Yeah, it's a really tricky one. I've always struggled myself with strategy calls on this track. You kind of want to go a bit longer so you can take the mediums, because they are a bit quicker at the beginning of the stint than the hards. But at the same time, the undercut can be massive here, so it's just a gamble, this track, with the strategy a bit. But well, that's part of it, and people have to deal with it.
Your own saying in the comment section as well is a Campbell Justas top 3. Quite interesting there from your own. But that is very ambitious. This is down in 19th position, of course. The final drivers now rejoined on the grid. Montana, I'm going to quickly come across to you. Who's your top 3?
I don't want to jinx my man, so I'm going to go Justas, Rocco, Connor.
Interesting indeed. We'll see then what is going to happen. The car's now rejoining on the grid. Hopefully, with 27 laps awaiting us, we're going to get a first time start. And the 5 red lights are now coming on here for round 2 of the Championship and League of Europe Division 1. And it is lights out and away we go. Campbell reacts quicker to the start, but Connor, I think, gets away better. And Connor and Campbell are going to be side by side on the run towards turn 1. Justas took it into the slipstream in behind as well, but Connor will hold the lead in towards turn 1. Campbell there in second. Justas in third, flicking through the field. I think everyone has cleaned through turn 1 and 2 safely, which is good. And everyone avoids action there. As Pease now goes side by side with Neo on the run down in towards turn number 3. Can he try and get the move done all the way around the outside? Neo's going to get 2 of them around the outside of Marine, inspired by the German. That is a phenomenal move from Neo. He's through and he's into 7th. Goodness me, we might well be seeing overtake the season. Neil through and he's into 7th. Great move that. Dylan further down the field has dropped a position behind Cantera, but Connor leads the way down the Mistral straight for the first time. Campbell in second, Justas in third. There's still further action happening up and down the field. Wouter was getting quite close to Kuhn Bly, but now they filter through until the chicane node, with side by side between Izza and Killer Blue further down the field. Killer Blue outdoes Izza beautifully on that set of hard compounded tyres. He's through and he's into 17th. Izza will fight back though on the run up towards turn 10, but it's Conrad in front, Campbell second, Justas in third through the first half a lap. I think everyone's clean through safely.
Who's Eminem when you got James Head commentating? Jesus Christ. Yeah, it seems really clean and really cultivated again, and it's Division 1 in League of Europe, so yeah, surprising, but you love to see it, especially on a track like this where it's easy to spin on the car on the outside. But everyone through cleanly, no damage spotted so far. And we're into the DRS train phase pretty soon, I guess.
Yeah, pretty soon indeed. Of course, DRS is not enabled until lap 3, and it's not even enabled, of course, until we get onto the back straight, down the Mistral straight. That is when the DRS will be enabled. Connor sets the fastest lap of the race on lap 1, of course, leading the way by around 6 tenths of a second there. Campbell there in second, Justas in third, Yildirim in fourth, Nathan running wide there, slightly in fifth, just catching the curb through turn 1. Verstappen on the back of him there in sixth. Kuhn Bly, I think, made a mistake coming through the chicane of turns 1 and 2, and now Wouter centres blood. He's got Kuhn Bly just in front of him, the Williams and the the Alfa Romeo, going to probably be going side by side, I would imagine, down the Mistral straight here. Of course, Wuto's got about 80% of ERS, Kuhnblei's got 75, so around the same level in terms of ERS so far. Everyone knows clean through. In terms of the position gained as well, as we run on board with Wuto, he's not going to be close enough, I don't think, running down the straight. Jensen might be to the back of Packer, and Izza and Killablu are certainly going to be side by side, as now Jensen forces the issue as well on Packer. We saw Izza go past there and Killablu, and Jensen does not get that move done. Positions gained though, Jensen is the most positions gained, 3, possibly now 4, as Packer just about lets him go. And I think Packer, made a slight mistake coming out of turn 10, or turn 9 even, and Jensen has thrown he's into 14th position, so he's gained 4 positions off the start. Most positions lost, a combination of Marine, Nuth, Packer, Killablu and Cancera, who have all lost 2 positions.
Yeah, good move from Jensen, forced a mistake from Packer. Packer on the hearts obviously struggling in the early phase, but now is the crucial bit at the front. Connor scraping off the 10th and almost getting out of 1 second. This would be quite a big thing if you can manage to pull it off. 9.5 tenth, really squeezing the battery. That also forces Campbell to use the battery, and Justus is just there gelling with 70%.
Yeah, Campbell, I think, used a little bit extra battery running down towards turn 1. Of course, he literally broke in towards turn 1, where, of course, you would. And, of course, the ERS just turns itself off completely. And you see that, just coming through turn number 2, on the run down towards turn 3, Campbell just used a bit more deployment up. But Connor has nearly gapped him outside of a second. I think he's just within DRS range as Campbell, as he now comes through the DRS detection point of turn 4. And it's literally 1,000th off. Might the game give it? No, he is not in DRS range at all. So Campbell has now got to be pressurised by Justus in behind. It's 7/10 the gap low, so he's not going to be close enough. Further down the field, however, I think Cantera's going to get quite close here to Killablu. The Haas and the Aston Martin are going to be going side by side until the chicane. All its action happening further down the field as opposed to up the field so far. As now Cantera looks to the outside line, Killablu just snatches it on the inside line, and he holds P18 for now. But Cantera with an ultimate run out is going to go side by side up the hill, and with the deployment and with the toll that he's going to be getting off the cars ahead, Cantera waltzes past Killablu as if he's not even there. And he's through and he's into P18. So good move there by the Spaniard. He's up in position. Killablu there will continue to fight. Connor though, 1.4 seconds. Already looks like he's in a different class to these.
I can tell you someone who's in trouble. Campbell is out of the mouth of battery already on lap 3. And the guys behind saved up a bit more. So his gamble to stay with Connor, try to stay with Connor, squeeze the battery, absolutely backfired. And he's going to be struggling over the next couple of laps, trying to regenerate some energy, but we can already see lap times dropping, so Soft's already dropping off a little bit as well, so Campbell wants his pit stop phase to come as soon as possible for his battery to recharge.
Yeah, Wuta and Repals are keeping very good pace, I've got to say, with the softs. And I mean, Wuta was so quick coming through turn number 1. Mediums are clearly better at that part of the track. Around the rest of the track, the softs might just come back into play. But Wuta, on the back of Kuhnblei, of course, he is only picking up a minimum of 2 points if it stays as it is at this moment in time. But Wuta now under pressure, of course, from Repals. Championship leaders down in 12th position, snatches the curb coming through turn 6 as well. However, further up the field, Justas is going to saunter past Campbell. Wow. Speed difference is absolutely phenomenal. Justas is through and he's into second. The Lithuanian going to be trying to make a statement in terms of championship lead by the end of tonight. Justas there in second, and now with more deployment, Justas can now break into the toe of Connor, and I think honestly he is trying to do that, and already they're within a second.
Yeah, Justas using his energy now to catch up. This last sector will be crucial in terms of if he can get inside the DRS, or if he's also wasting his DRS and therefore slowing them all down. And maybe you can even drop Campbell if he's struggling at that much, but just on the cusp again, 1 second exactly at the last split. I think he's got it. Yeah, he just breaks a bit late for this corner and you get the DRS, so Connor's escape has been demolished by Justas' clever strategy of saving some ERS early on.
Yeah, DRS is enabled, of course, on Justas' end, and look at the speed that he is carrying down the straight as well. He's going to gain a good 4/10 per second at least, running down in towards turn number 1. Justas there in second, Campbell there in third, Yildirim in fourth. Verstappen trying to pressurise Nathan for a bit of a mistake. Nathan just struggling to keep him onto the back of Yildirim at this stage. Verstappen there in sixth. He senses a little bit of blood, of course. That is a literal no name and a 1-bar connection just in front. That's all we can see, certainly, on my end. But Verstappen on the back of Nathan. Nathan there in fifth. 5th, Verstappen there in 6th as Killer Blue is the first to pick up a 3-second penalty further down the field. Connor still 8 tenths clear of Justas, not going to be any moves, I think, further up the field. Verstappen on the back of Nathan is not going to get the move done. Could be Wouter and Kumblai possibly running down the straight in towards the turns 8 and 9. Elder Chicane Nord, and Wouter's not going to be closer to Kumblai, so they stay as they are for now.
Yeah, a beautiful DRS train of 20 cars, although Neo is almost dropping out now. Struggling, he's also out of battery, so he's going to be struggling to get back into that train. And he might be next guy in trouble as I just switched through the field. Some people actually on 0%. Oh, as Wouter, whoa. That was a bit too close for comfort and he almost lost it, but to be honest, he saved that quite well. You see the rear slip a little bit, and you don't want to do that in that code.
Definitely not. It was a combination, I think, of obviously front end touching rear end of the car in front, and then obviously the curb just came into play slightly and just flung him out wide, and actually Kumblai is into the pit lane. Verstappen, interestingly, is into the pit lane as well. So Verstappen and Kumblai both into the pit lane. They're pitting, like I said, around lap 5, lap 6 would be the point of drivers beginning to pit in, and they're going to go into a set of hard compound tyres. So Verstappen is certainly, Kumblai is going on, because the Williams garage is so far down the pit lane, he will get there eventually, and he's also going onto a white wall tyre by the look, so that's going to be a set of hard compound tyres, and Kumblai will go on to that fresh set. If you were obviously them, I think, is that the right call?
It's a bit early, but if you're stuck, you just want to make something different to the other guys. So it's worth a gamble. He's got some battery. He has to be careful though. The hearts are not straight away that quick. But at the same time, he has to push as much as he can to maybe gain 1 or 2 positions. But it will be interesting to see if people react and also just copy them to cover them off with soft hard. Or if someone like Connor goes a bit longer and then puts on a set of mediums, which is also a possibility, of course.
Well, I'm looking at Yildirim there in 4th, and I'm immediately thinking, you've got 1.3 seconds, you're out of battery, you may as well try and make hay in the pit stops, because obviously you're not going to catch the drivers ahead, and Yildirim should come into the pit, and he's got Nathan right on the back of him. Why not? Because you're going to be covering off. Nathan goes an extra 2 laps. That could be a gain for Yildirim later on in this race. It could be a smart strategy if he does pit in this lap around. That's what certainly I would do, but of course I am not a physical driver. Justas, I thought, was coming into the pit lane there, but Yildirim has followed me in, and he actually just runs wide of the pit lane there slightly. He is into the pit lane, so Yildirim actually follows B-Tech Jeff's strategy, i.e. me, as Neo's picked up a penalty coming into the pit lane, but Yildirim now into the pit lane along with Neo and Peas, and hopefully he's going to be getting a piece of the action when he comes in. I've used that again, haven't I? Yildirim though into the pit lane, onto a set of hard compounded tyres, Neo on a set of hards, and I think Yildirim's going to go, Peas as well, onto a set of hard compounded tyres as well. So it seems like that's probably the right tyre for later on in this race.
Yeah, those tyres will make it to the end easy peasy, so yeah, no worries there. Oh, as it's getting close between Yildirim and Verstappen, but Yildirim just stays ahead. And yeah, you made a good point. Why just staying out when you got no battery and literally losing time? And Mr. Yildirim might have heard you. He's overdone it a bit in the pit entry, but Germans are used to overdo stuff. So yeah, has worked out for him in a way.
Repaz sends it down the inside on a Marine. Wouter also got through that, by the way, as well. So Wouter and Repaz through and then to 5th and 6th position. Marine drops down 2 positions, and that is just the effect of the set of soft compounded tyres at this stage in the race. Justas, by the way, applying a lot of pressure to Connor out in front. It's now 3/10 the gap. Justas keeping battery levels very well indeed. Connor dragging him along, and Justas has got 30% more EOS than Connor. Justas is just sitting there waiting in behind, thinking, Connor, you're dragging me along into this race absolutely beautifully. It's like Justas is back in NSX all over again.
Yeah, just as the good old times. Yeah, people are moving closer together, and we see another soft runner pit. That must be Marine, who makes it into pit beautifully. And now the medium runners are unleashed, I would say.
Yeah, I'm watching Jensen and behind on Nuth, running down in towards Simon. Nuth obviously is not going to be closing in on Repaz, who's just ahead of him. In fact, Repaz has got around 3 seconds to try and gain. If he's got to get past Wouter, it's got to be now, really, to try and launch the pack. Of course, he is in the championship lead. He wants to try and get as many positions as possible. Where is Marine going to come out the pit lane, however? He is coming on the pit lane exit, and I think he's going to be in maybe between Peas and Neo. No, he's right down the back of the field, so we'll go me, Marine out in P20, still all 20 cars running, which is good to see. Connor though leading the way. Justas there in second. Justas this time looking as close as he ever has done to the back of the AlphaTauri. Not going to launch the move. Somebody that might though. It's Repas halfway down the straight. It's got to get the move done down towards the braking zone of turn number 8, and Repas is through, and he's into P5. So Repas making very good making very good progress throughout this field so far, but he has used up around half of his battery to get there. Baruta in behind, though, has pretty much got about 50% less than him because he's only on 3% coming up in towards turn 10 and 11.
Yeah, he just wants to be carried along right now, and they're gaining quite nicely on Nathan. Also, just I looked at a lap times a bit, and I saw Verstappen doing 32.5s, and the leaders are doing high 33s. So Verstappen is getting a massive undercut right now, so people are pitting at the front now, I guess. Yeah, all 3 of them, all 4 of them actually pitting. Now the question is mediums or hards.
I would imagine 19 laps, it looks like, certainly set of mediums for Connor, for Nathan and Verstappen at least, or Campbell even, into the pit lane. And Connor is also going to be coming in. They're all going onto a set of medium compound tyres, which I think they've waited a few extra laps, but they can get it towards the end. You said as well, Connor is very good on his tyres. Verstappen's coming out the final corner now. This is going to be extraordinarily close, I think, coming out the pit lane. Connor now on the pit lane exit. I think Verstappen's going to roll past him, and Connor could be behind him. It could just be ahead, actually. And Connor scrapes ahead of Verstappen. Even with that undercut, the overcut is more potent around here at France, it seems, and Connor has landed himself an absolute prime opportunity now to win this race. Verstappen is in there within DRS though. He's only 5/10 off, but on a set of medium compound tyres, Connor's got to be, what, half a second quicker at least than Verstappen, and look at the speed he's already gaining. 8/10 away. He's gained 4/10 just through the first couple of corners alone. Connor pretty much now on course, you would imagine, to win this race, as Justas now is going to attack Verstappen down in towards the Stroll straight and down towards chicane. No, Campbell and Yildirim as well going side by side and behind. They swap positions, so Campbell through and he's into 14th, Yildirim there in 15th, but Justas now through and he's into net second position. But Justas, crucially I think, got that move done. He had to get that move done on that sort of medium compound tyres. And further down the field though, Yildirim and Nathan now going side by side, and Nathan waltzes past Yildirim as if he's not even there, and he's through and he's into P15 out on track.
It's exactly what I mentioned. You get the undercut on the hards, they'll come back into play maybe at the end of the race. But now the mediums are just so much quicker. And you can already see Drew getting overtaken by 2 cars in literally 1 corner. So will be interesting to see if Justas and Connor can sneak away. But I think Verstappen is not going to make it too hard for his teammates. Which is completely understandable, of course. But I think he's just going to let Campbell through here. So Campbell can try to stay within the DRS train. Which is also crucial as Verstappen closes the DRS. And here comes Campbell. Can Nathan also follow through? No, it's just a bit too far behind.
That was perfectly orchestrated, I think, there in terms of team tactics. But what that does, though, is actually put them in a bit of a disadvantage, because now Campbell's running back into free air. He has lost nearly a second to the back of Justas, and that could have been absolutely crucial. It could have been poorly orchestrated if it didn't actually work. It did work. Campbell now showing the pace, and Campbell now beginning to close in on Justas. Dylan and Killblue are side by side down towards the Mistral straight, and towards chicane node, and Dylan there in P10, Killblue and P9, they stay as they are. Repas still leading the way now, Ruta in second, and Nathan third. Verstappen is side by side with Nathan, and Nathan, is he going to try and get the drag down in towards turn 1? He's certainly later on the brakes. Beautiful move down in towards turn 8, gets the job done. Dylan as well, and Killblue is fighting side by side up the hill and towards turn 11, and Dylan repasses Killblue. So through and he's into 9th is Dylan on Killblue, and that's the hard compound tyres just beginning, I think, to maybe come into play, as Nuth has been overtaken by Jensen. I think Nuth made a slight mistake there coming out of turn 12.
Yeah, he must have made a mistake, maybe also got caught in the curb. But the lead group now are probably just trying to stay out a bit longer, hoping for a safety car like last week, and then the whole table is going to turn again on its head. But at the moment, even Nathan was able to stay within the DRS train, so that's crucial, and I think we're going to have a 4-way battle for the lead for the next couple of laps, consisting of Nathan, Campbell, Justas and Connor.
Yeah, definitely so. Justas was around 3/10 off the back of Connor, running towards the final couple of corners, a Lackham Pond. But Justas again, 2.5 away, down in towards turn 1. I think, honestly, if I was Justas, I'd be sitting in behind, trying to waste away as much battery as possible, while just sitting in the slipstream of Connor, because that's what he's doing perfectly. He's got around 22% more ERS than Connor at this stage. Justas there, around 20% more, in fact, in terms of ERS. Justas, though, what would you do if you were in Justas' shoes at this minute? Would you try and attack Connor, force him into a mistake, as we've seen Connor do before, or just wait, sit, and maybe put a little bit more pressure on the car ahead.
I would certainly put a bit of pressure on Connor, just to make him use that little bit of ERS, try to figure out where he's strong or how to make the moves when it actually matters in the last laps. But he needs to drain the battery of Connor a bit to have a chance at the end of the race, which is doing in a way right now. And the question is, can they drop Campbell and Nathan realistically? That's going to be something both of them will think about. But it's so hard to just fall out the DRS drain on this track because it's so strong and potent. But at the moment they're just probably saving tyres, making sure nothing really happens to them. Oh, that's early.
That's really early. I thought they would have went beyond halfway stage. Repaz into the pit lane along with Ruta, so the front two are in. Onto the whole component tyres they'll go. What? I can only see a disadvantage, I think, for both of them at this stage in the race. They're going to be rejoining. Maybe in between this pack, possibly. They might be on the back of these guys. But it's going to be so close. In fact, they're going to be well off. But Repaz now, coming out the pit lane, he's going to be behind Moraine. But luckily for him, he's going to be within a second, as is Ruta. And I think that's actually quite nicely orchestrated, because they're going to have fresher tyres towards the end of the race. Drivers ahead will fight. They'll fight aggressively. And Repaz and Ruta will be there to try and pick up any free positions that they can try and squander off the cars ahead. So it's not a bad strategy. But in terms of short term, I think it's the wrong call.
Yeah, that's surprising. I think Jensen is not gonna do the same, I hope at least, because I just don't see the point.
Justas attacks Connor down and towards turn 8. Deary me, I nearly missed that. Justas Looney's into P9, and now Connor into P10. So Justas has made the move, doesn't want to hang about here tonight, and the Lithuanian makes his intentions clear to go to the lead, try and drag Connor along. Campbell and Nathan will follow. They've gapped Verstappen already by 2 seconds. And Connor basically now just needs to sit as wingman, I think, until Justas. He just needs to wait in behind, make it the next boring, 14 laps of the race, and then attack penultimate lap of the race. As we've seen, Cantera into the pit lane, 5-second penalty for speeding into the pits. As that was a very weird one. Was that pretty much on the limit, I think?
Yeah, I'm losing my mind right now. I don't know what's going on. I almost see Nathan dropping out of the DRS train there of the leaders. He's struggling a bit with DRS and almost dropped out, but I'm still trying to understand why Wout and Repaz would do that. They're now just slightly fresher hards, which is not a big advantage, and they still slower than the medium guys for at least 10 laps-ish. So I can't really see the strategy work out, so I'm more of the side, on the side of Jensen and Nuth, Packer and Rocco, as well as Izza and Dylan. Just dropping outside the DRS, I believe, yeah. And now we'll see just the table turned with Justas and Connor leading the leading train, the net leaders in that matter.
Yeah, Justas there net lead of the race, Connor there in net second. Further down the field though, Repaz on that fresh set of hard compound tyres is going to make one move done. I think he could make possibly 2 on P's up in towards turn number 10, but he certainly threw on Neo, and he's through and he's into 15th position. But now, if he attacks P's this lap around, he's going to get into that clear round. I think he could go for the move down in towards turn 10, even maybe in towards turn 11. But what I said to Montana before the stream, he could go around the outside. He actually switches to the inside this time. We're still going to get moving to turn 11 nonetheless, and that is beautiful from Repaz, the championship leader, makes his championship intentions known, and he's through and he's into 14th position. That is a net P7 out on track for Repaz. So actually, in terms of Repaz, him being on that fresh set of hard compound tyres, not only is he overtaken the rest of the field, P's, Neo, Kumblai, who all came into the pit lane before him, Wouter has been left behind. He's literally sitting and waiting. Repaz has taken every single chance as Nathan is into the pit lane. Repaz has taken every single chance, gone with it, and look where he is, because his teammate's just ahead of him by around 2.5 seconds. Repaz is flying on this circuit, and on those tyres.
This just shows how strong he is. Something I noticed last week as well. His car positioning in battles and his overtaking has improved so much.
That was a bit of a forceful one from Wouter down the inside line in towards turn number 3. Gets the job done though. I think Moraine showed him the door, possibly on the inside line, saying, you know what, if you want to come through, come through. And Wouter is through and he's into 17th. Further up the field, though, Packer.
Moraine nearly losing it. Nearly losing it out of the corner. That would have been a hard impact. But yeah, Wouter now just getting spit out the cars ahead of him. He needs to overtake them as well as quickly as possible before Repaz escapes. But he's struggling a bit more, and now he picks up a penalty and he's out of ERS, so not having the greatest of times right now.
Cantera's going to attack Marine around the outside and towards turn number 10 as well. He walters past him on the outside line, and now he's going to get into that second range of Ruta as well. Ruta around 4 or 5 tenths ahead of him as he comes through. Packer and Rocco, interestingly though, into the pit lane. 14 laps on the set of medium should work absolutely fine, and they are into the pit lane, possibly to fall down towards the back of the field. But in the whole grand scheme of things, if there's a safety car, certainly going to be one of the tightest races we've had all season. Obviously, this being round 2, as I'll say that. Packer and Rocco, though, coming out the pit lane, fresh set of mediums go on. Now inherits Jensen still in the race lead. Nuth there in second, Izzer in third. I'm going to say Nuth is doing a very good job on that sort of hard compounded tyres. Can he extend that stint possibly, or will he follow Jensen in? Can they extend their stint? Because I'm thinking that they're going further into the race. The more they do that, could a set of soft compounded tyres be on the cards?
They can be really, really quick, but only for a couple of laps, so the thing is, now Rocco pitted, and he's last. It just shows how close the field is. But the people that pitted 1 lap earlier in the mediums, compared to Nuth, now have the advantage of a big undercut, so Nuth really needs to go for a safety car to make his strategy work, because he'll be dead last when he comes out, and he's leading the race now.
Yeah, he overtook Jensen down in towards turn number 8. It was a nice move there on for Nuth, threw in towards turn 8 and gets the job done. He's into the lead of the race. Jensen there in second, Izzer there in third. Looking on board with Ruta in behind Kumblai, trying to get the move done. Packer as well and Dylan side by side. And there is Dylan actually on the outside line. I was thinking he was on the inside, goodness me. Packer now gets the job done up the hill and towards turn 8, gets the job done. And Cantera side by side with Ruta, he gets the job done. So Cantera now on that fresh set of mediums, picking his way through the field nicely. We've seen the Spaniard, of course, win last season before, and Cantera making his intentions clear in this race, possibly for points. He's on the back of Kumblai. Just how far he can get through the field before those tyres go off, they'll remain to be seen. He is on the back of Kumblai, and do you know what? I think he might even go for a move into the final corner. However, that's literally just my thinking, I think, by saying that. Cantera, though, on the back of Kumblai, down the straight in towards turn number 1. This might be an easy move if he gets close enough, but it looks like Kumblai is just running a stronger straight line speed setup, even with the toe. He's not going to be close enough. So Cantera waiting behind on Kumblai. They're out in 13th and 14th with Killer Blue coming into pit in that last lap around. And Killer Blue, look at how far he's behind the pack. He's 4 seconds behind the rest of the field.
Yeah, the undercuts are massive and so confusing for us and the drivers as well. You can be leading at one point and after pit stop you're lost, as we'll see when Nuth pits as well. But just noticing in the net battle for the lead, Eustace now draining his battery a bit more and Connor's building it up, so exactly the opposite happened on what we suggested before that, as Cantera is just fighting his way through, taking no prisoners there, and he's got his eyes set on another 2 cars right ahead of him. Yeah, got the side draft. He didn't use any ERS in that fact. It was just the side draft, I think, that was absolutely potent in that. And Cantera, late on the brakes, got the job done, and he's soon he's into 13th. Wuta now on the back of Kumblai as well. Of course, he's on 6 lap fresher. Hard compounded tyres compared to him, as Izzer is now into the pit lane from 3rd position. So Izzer in, Nuth leading the way, Jensen second. They have set in their stall, I think, to go on to a set of soft compounded tyres. It would be silly for them to pit in, I think, now for a set of mediums. Yes, they're going to be fresh, but you're going to lose a lot of track position. May as well stay out there, stick it out a couple of laps if you're good enough on the tyres, set of soft compounded tyres on, as Izzer has just proved, because he's going on that set of softs as well. Yep. There go the dices, and the gambling is on. But he will be last, and now he has to make the moves on the Hazard. Wow! Look at how far Izzer's clear of Killer Blue, though, coming out the pit lane. I don't know what exactly happened to Killer Blue, but yeah. The mission for Izzer is now to overtake all the medium runners, who are at the same time overtaking the hard runners, so he is going to have a busy couple of laps, as Jensen is just trading positions again with Nuth, because it makes sense to just try to slitch each other up front, and they both will also go for soft, pretty surely. Yeah, I think they'll probably put in either this lap or next lap around, because obviously, as you say, set of soft compounded tyres, I only think they'll last around 6 or 7 laps at least before they really start to go off the cliff around here. Ruta launches the move on Kumblai just in the background of shot, and actually it's side by side, and there's a spinner. Rocker was round coming through on the curb, I think. Not sure if he was side by side with the driver. Certainly saw the McLaren spin, and Rocco now round. He's down at the back of the field. He rejoins behind Killer Blue. However, Marine on the back of Kumblai, Yilbream as well on Verstappen. For 7th, gets
gets the job done. So Yildirim is through. Kumbly though on the back of Ruta. This race is getting quite tasty, I think. Packer as well on the back as Jensen is into the pit lane. Nuth, however, is not. Nuth continues on out in front. Jensen on that set of mediums into the pit lane. He will go on to a set of soft compound tyre, one would imagine.
Watch a late safety car, and Nuth is gonna win this race. Calling it now. But yeah, Jensen now playing his cards. There's frantic stuff going on. Yes, and now, oh, the traction on the softs. Absolutely insane. Flies past Dylan literally in the traction zone. And he's now just gonna get his way through the field. Packer shouldn't be an issue on this exit as well.
He could get...
Yep.
Could get two, maybe. Marine as well. Just sits him behind. I think that's decent from Izzy. He sat and waited there. Obviously, it serves him, it loses him a bit of time, but I think that was probably the right thing to do. Otherwise, there would have been contact.
Yeah, very sensible from him. Not really known for that, but yeah, he's doing well, and now he just has to pick them off one by one in a safe manner, and all the lights flashing like Christmas trees ahead of him. So he's going to appreciate that, and he's going to take 2 in 1. Yeah,
wow.
Why not?
Down the inside and towards turn 8, and Izza, that just comes to show how potent a set of soft compound tyres is around here in France. Izza has just sauntered past Packer, then dived it down the inside line of the Rhine, and he's acted as if they're not even there. Izza is through and he's into 14th. Beautiful move, and now he's on the back of Kumbly, and actually side by side between Dylan and Packer. They're leaning on each other slightly through turn 11 as Jensen is into the pit lane from the race lead, and Dylan forced it down the inside line. The gap has always got to close, and now he could be in threat from Jensen and behind, and Jensen, of course, does like to get his elbows out. Look at Izza, though, on the back of Kumbly, in through now Lackham Pond of turn 14 and 15. Is he going to dive it down the inside line into 15? No, but Jensen does, into the background. Jensen dives it down the inside line on Dylan, in towards turn number 15. This race is getting mad. Justas leads the way. Connor in second, Campbell in third. Izza is through on Kumbly. Jensen is soon going to be through on Dylan. Dylan just lets him go as if he doesn't want to even fight him. Jensen through and he's into 16th position. This race is topsy-turvy completely. Justas still holds the lead. Connor in second. But I'm looking, Jensen and Packer. Run the outside into turn 6.
Why not?
Oh wow, lovely move. Jensen through and he's into 15th.
Yeah, is he also going to get the 2 of them on this straight? It looks like it. So much traction, and people spend their rest defending from Izza already, as Verstappen and Yildirim are still trading positions. And Izza is getting a move done as well, and Jensen is sending it down the inside of Marine.
Oh, interesting. Yildirim moves out the way as well of Repas, so Repas now let go by his teammate, and that is, I think, key for Repas's chance in this race. He's got 6 seconds to catch, but if Verstappen lets him through, it's a lot to gain, but the mediums will begin to go off towards the end of the race. Packer and Marine are side by side, and Jensen on the inside line through turn 11 will get the move done as well as Dylan fights it on the inside line of Marine. Goodness me, they're getting the elbows out here in France tonight, and I'm sure somewhere there'll be a French driver watching. Dylan on the back of Packer. Packer on the back of Kumbly, up and down the field, topsy-turvy action. Izza, by the way, right on the back of this pack now of Cantera and Neo. He's 7 tenths off the back as Nuth now launches a move down the inside of Marine. He gets the job done as well. Justas leading, by the way. Connor in second. I'm looking at Connor's ERS and thinking to myself, he's got 40% more ERS than Justas.
He's on 100%. He probably can power the whole town of whatever the town is in France there, but Jesus, that's exactly what he spoke about. The car behind could save the ERS, and that will be crucial in the last couple of laps. Also, Nathan and Campbell moved their levels up a bit, and frantic stuff at the back has now moved on even fresher tyres with even more battery. It's gonna sail past Dylan, and probably also the cars ahead pretty soon, as Kuhn is an absolute sitting duck. He's gonna get overtaken by 3 cars here.
Could be indeed. Jensen on the back of Ruta as well. Dylan is through, and he's into 15th, and Nuth tries to go on the switchback through turn 15. Oh, what a switchback that is. Through turn 10, through turn 9 even, and Nuth is through and he's into 16th position. Beautiful switchback, and Jensen on the inside line of Ruta. He's going to get the move done as well. About as many overtakes you might see in this race as you do in a season of Formula 1 in real life. Jensen is through and he's into P12, Ruta 13th, and Nuth sends it on Dylan as well. That's another move. Nuth is through and he's into P15. God almighty, we certainly need a payment, I think, after this race. Justus leads the way, Connor in second, Campbell there in third, Campbell and Nathan, though, being dragged along by Connor, and I think Connor made a slight mistake there, because the gap just shortened slightly between Campbell and Connor. Nathan in that fight as well. Full wave for the lead of the race with 7 laps to go. Izza right on the back of Cantera further down the field as well. He's looking like the next move. But Justus, Connor, Campbell and Nathan, I think we're pretty sure and saying that they're going to be fighting out for the race win.
Yeah, they managed that race perfectly so far. Barring any penalties, they should be quite safe. But now there's a literal human centipede on the second group there. As mad stuff is about to happen as Izza gets his penalty as well. And Jensen seems to have the pace on Izza at this point. Obviously 1 lap fresher tyres. Moved behind, probably easy overtake for him on Packer as well. As Cantera and Nia are also fighting frantically, so it's hard to call everything because there's just so much going on.
There is so much going on. I think Neo just made 2 moves there, possibly to defend the position on Cantera. I'm not sure Cantera might want to look into that. There's a spinner through the middle sector. That's Kuhnblai. That is Round coming through turn number 9. So Kuhnblai Round. Not sure if he got caught on the curb. I think he might have been side by side with the driver. Not sure who might have been. It might have been Nuth, possibly. Nuth there in 14. Kuhnblai now down to 20th position. Unfortunately for him, he's now right down the back of the field. And I don't think he's going to be catching that back up unless there's a safety car. Izza right on the back of Cantera. Looks around the outside of turn 12. Doesn't get the move done. Neo beginning to come like the cork in the bottle again with Cantera in behind. Justus leading the way. Connor in second. Campbell in third. Nathan in fourth. Repaz, however, look at how much time he's just gained on Nathan that last lap around. He's gained a second on Nathan. They're all following that DRS train. Corners clearly keen, I think, for Repaz here in this race. And he's still got a chance to latch onto the back before the end. Repaz there in 5th position. Takes out a second on Nathan the last lap around.
Yep, this side is now going to come in the window where they can challenge mediums. And if the leaders are not hurrying up, not wanting to overtake each other really, to be the leading car, it's Reaper's time to shine, but 5 seconds is still a big ask. But if they start battling quite soon, why not?
Cantera on the back of Neo as well, further down the field. Jensen on Izza. This could be quite key for 11th and 12th position. And actually, further up the field, Yildirim passes Verstappen. The move that I wasn't expecting does happen. Yildirim turns into 6th. Nuth on Ruta into the inside line, and Nuth is sent off. They go side by side through turn number 8 and 9. Never going to work, and always it was going to come to blows, I think, between them both there. Nuth there down in P19. Waits up for the rest of the field to go by. Pease is going side by side with Verstappen. Goodness me, I think I need a wet towel, I think, after this. Justus leads the way. Connor in second, Campbell third, Nathan in fourth. Repaz hasn't really gained time around, and it looks like the train is beginning to get going again in front. Certainly, there must have been a mistake or two further up the field. Cantera, though, on the back of Neo. Izza is trying to find a way past all of these guys. He cannot simply find a way through, because literally defending for their lives. He looks at the inside line, doesn't get the move done.
Jensen again, almost into the back of Izza. That's what probably caused the spin of Nuth as well. Just Jensen almost running in the back of him. And now he's so close again, but the DRS train is just so annoying for all these drivers, because no one can just get close enough to send one down the inside really, without putting the car ahead in danger as well.
It's absolutely unbelievable, this race, and to say, all 20 drivers are still running on lap 23 out of 27. Phenomenal work by everyone. Justus leading the way. He's beginning now to pull the gap out to Connor. Connor needs to use up a bit of ERS, I think, to this point, just to try and latch onto the back of Justus. Down the straight, he has no problem. But through the corners, Justus now beginning to pull away. And I think that could be key to Justus' success here in this race. Connor, though, has got more ERS, which I think is going to be more to his advantage towards the end as well. Hardy, by the way, said in the comments section, I forgot to read this completely. Connor is gone now. Is Connor gone? He's sitting there in second. Justus leading the way. Campbell and Nathan in behind. Connor, he might have had the gap for the lead, but certainly with Justus passing him early on, it favours Connor more than Justus at this stage in the race, you would imagine.
Yeah, now it's a question when he's going to make the move. Is he going to wait to the last lap? Is he going to go early and try to pull away with his ERS advantage? But so hard to call, and you don't want to leave it to the last lap because you only have one shot at it.
You only have one shot at it. We've got 4 more laps to go here in France. Buckle up, it's going to get quite wild and wacky, I think. Justus leads the way. Connor in second, Campbell in third. Nathan is on the is nearly side by side with Campbell down in towards turn number 1. He looked for the move there, didn't Nathan? But Campbell and Nathan are beginning to come into play. It looks like they've saved their tyres better than Connor and Justas at this stage in the race. Reaper's obviously now getting another 6 cents this lap around. I don't think he's going to latch onto the back unless these all concertina up and there's contact. But Justas leading the way, Connor in second, Campbell in third, Nathan in fourth. Jad, by the way, coming in the second comment section saying that was when Connor was 1.5 seconds ahead of Campbell earlier on in the race. He's 7 tenths behind Justas, however, now. Nathan looking for the move on Campbell, running down the straight, not going to get the move done. Cantera, though, might on Neo. Nearly side by side. Jensen is closing on Litter as well. Don't know where to look in terms of the action here, as Cantera nearly runs into the back and isn't very late on the brakes as well. Justas still in the way. Connor second, Campbell in third, Nathan in fourth. 3.5 laps to go, and from this point onwards, probably no VSCs or safety cars.
Oh, I think a mistake from Misa. Jensen just got past him. And now Cantera is still so close, but he just can't get it close enough and get a good enough run to put it side by side. As I say that, he's thinking about going in down the inside, but it's just so hard to make a move in that DRS train, and that's why we see Campbell and Nathan now pushing Connor to do something and to make a move, as Connor is on 100% DRS. It's like literally Alpha Tricks flashbacks as we see that. But yeah, Reaper's also not getting too close at the moment, but he's just in a safe 5th place if nothing really happens, which probably will. But Jensen looking now like he's the highest soft runner after the mistake from Misa.
He is the highest soft runner, but he's been negated somewhat with the big DRS train that's happening pretty much from Mulebream all the way downwards to Dylan in 15th position. Justas there leading the way. Jav has made a really good point. Wonder if Justas will play it tactically. I think Justas wants this on track. 7/10 of a second. He's better than Connor in the corners. And if it's 7/10 of a second, going on to the penultimate lap and then on to the final lap of the race, Connor's not going to have a chance to try and close down, even if he uses up ERS and DRS to try and close in. As I say that, it's within 0.3 of a second. Connor's managing this race well, but I think he is trying to just preempt something maybe from Justas ahead. Justas leading the way, Connor there in second, and Connor is sitting there 80% of ERS, and I'm thinking to myself, Justas is better. First and final sectors, that is going to be key for the race, as Nuth has picked up a penalty. Kumblai is into the pit lane as well. He's gone into a set of softs for the fastest lap attempt. Justas, though, leading the way. If I was Justas, I'd be trying to gap that out as much as possible going on to the penultimate lap of the race, because Connor is probably going to come out on down the Mistral straight.
Yeah, the question really is Connor just holding back a bit so he's
Jensen
not running into Justas?
Jensen forces the move on Cantera down the inside in towards turn 12, doesn't get the move done, but now, is he going to try and sweep from outside to in, coming through Lack and then through Pont? No, just has to sit and wait behind. Justas still leading the way, Connor in second, and Connor now beginning to sense that Justas is in the front mirrors. 2 laps ago here in France. I thought Imola was good. France, I think, has been even better. Corner on the back of Justas. 5/10 clear, though, and that is what Justas needs to do. Coming out of turns 1 and 2, if he gets such a good run out of there, he's going to gap Connor, and he's going to win this race.
Yeah, Connor now maybe just held back a little bit, so he's not going to run into Justas, and has a little bit of a gap so he can push, so to keep Campbell and Nathan behind. But now Connor seems to push a little bit. He's going to leave it to the last lap, where he's going to try to get on the exit of the next corner.
Last lap.
He's going to try, yeah.
Turn 10, maybe?
Maybe, if he can get a run now, and then pull away just a little bit, you have the situation just all the way around. But Justas knows it, and he's using now. And Connor's also using now, so Connor is pushing Justas' battery, and that's important. That's really important.
Justas, though, I think has probably got the better tyres. I think Connor in the first sector especially struggled. If that gap is 6-7 tenths away, going on to the final lap of the race, as I said, Connor will not be winning this race. I think this is Justas' possibly to lose, but I've been wrong once, I'll be wrong again if needs be. Justas leading the way, Connor in second, Campbell third, Nathan fourth. Reapaz, by the way, is within 3 seconds of Nathan as well. Reapaz catching quite a hand over fist. If there was more laps in this Grand Prix, then goodness me, he'll be on the back of these guys soon. But Justas now coming around the final corner to come across the line to go on to the final lap of the race, and now Connor has set his intentions clear. He's going to chase after Justas now with 5.8 kilometers to go here in France. Justas leads the way, Connor in second. It's game time here in Le Castellet.
Yeah, I've been in this position against Connor many times, especially on this track, and he's ruthless on this last lap. He wants to make the move early here. Justas just running a bit wide. Yeah, he's close enough for a move, but will he go for it, or will he wait or after the chicane? draining Justus's battery now.
I don't think he's close enough. I don't think he's close enough running down into the Mistral straight, into the chicane. No, I could be wrong. Look at the closing speed of Connor as he goes all the way around the outside line. I'm wrong. Justus is outgunned by Connor. That is one of the best overtakes you might ever see. Wow!
Yeah.
Connor takes the lead, and I've been made to look like an absolute fool. Connor leads the way with half a lap to go here in France. That was absolutely sensational around the outside line. It takes some bravery and some commitment on the brakes to do it around the outside there, but he timed his run to absolute perfection, and now, with just 3-4 corners to go, Connor is going to be the French Grand Prix winner. He has timed it to absolute perfection, and Connor is coming through turn 14 at Lac, and then through turn 15 at Point. It has been an absolute phenomenal race. If there's more races to come this season, goodness me. Pease, by the way, is through on Verstappen, and Verstappen's dropping down the field as Connor come across the line to win here in France. Justus in second, Campbell there in third, Nathan in fourth, Repaz there in fifth. There's all sorts of action happening further down the field. Verstappen has got contact, I think, further down the field. Goodness me, I don't know where the penalties are going. There's so much going on. Pease in the end is seventh on his debut. Jensen and 8th, Packer 9th, Verstappen round off the top 10. We'll breathe, I think, after that. Kuhnblein 19th and Dillon is 20th. We can guarantee that for certain. Connor wins, though. Justus in second, Campbell in third, and Connor timed his run to absolute perfection. I thought he wasn't close enough. He was close enough. He waltzed it around the outside on, and he gets the race win.
Yeah, that was a beautiful execution from Connor there. Just wondering if Justus, again, he lost it on the last lap, going into down the main straight, the main overtaking opportunity. Is he just wanting to be safe, getting those P2s, getting the points for the championship? Or did he make the same mistake twice now by just not being in P2 before the last lap?
Well, he made the move earlier on in the race, and Connor just sat there and waited until the final lap. So I think, tactically, Justus got it wrong. He should have waited in behind to the penultimate lap, to the final lap of the race. Would have been exactly the same scenario, and then we would have been probably seeing Justus as the race winner here in France. Verstappen, by the way, so many position changes down the field. Verstappen had a puncture around the final couple of corners, so Verstappen drops, I think, if I'm not sure outside of the points, I think he's finished 10th in the end, looking at the Discord, and we'll confirm that, of course, for you in just a second as we run through the final grid order here in what has been an insane French Grand Prix. Connor has won from Justus in second, Campbell in third. Jav nearly got it right, by the way, in terms of predictions, so well done to him. Connor there wins, though. Justus in second, Campbell in third. Nathan there in fourth, Mr. No Name himself. Repaz there in fifth, from 14th on the grid. He might not have the championship lead going into next week in Portimao, but he drove a phenomenal race to get within 4 seconds of the leaders. Yildirim there in sixth, Pease in seventh, Jensen in eighth, Packer in ninth. Verstappen ran off the top 10. Then it's all the penalties that come into play. Wouter and Neo rounding off the points. Izza, Cantera, Rocco, Marine, Nuth, Killerblue, Kuhnblein, Dillon. Every single driver has finished the French Grand Prix for the first time this season, and probably the last.
Yeah, congrats to that at least. But yeah, what a race, what a result from the guys, and it keeps the championship open so far. Repaz P5, it's a solid result, but after that qualifying, not much more was possible, especially with the strategy. But yeah, mixed results. Keeps it interesting, and again the last lap decider.
Last lap decided indeed, and it came down to the final 5.8 kilometres, but goodness me, were we in for an absolute treat in that race. Hopefully we might be able to get the top 3 in for interviews as well. Of course, as I've said, Portimao to come next week, and if first 2 races in Imola and France have been anything to go by, Montana, Portimao, I think, could just top the lot.
Yeah, it's just going to be more of the same, and even better, I think. You got a big straight with a big DRS and slipstream effect, so people will just stay in a huge train. We'll probably see last lap deciders again, but yeah, a track where anything can happen.
Nathan, by the way, saying on Discord, saying he had no right to be P4 and he fully abused the DRS. But fully abusing the DRS actually gets you P4 in the end.
Yeah, why not abuse the DRS when it's there? So yeah, well, fair play to him. He just hung on. It was close at points, and I think I've just about invited everyone as my gang crashed when people crossed the lane.
Luckily, it was only around the final corner. I hope nobody noticed just that NSX Montana has left the session at the bottom of the stream. But fantastic racing, of course, in France. Hopefully the top 3 will be available for interviews, of course. We have got a lot of time still, around half an hour, until we actually get into Division 2 and Division 5, of course. Of course, Division 2, it is Daniel Hoggart and J. Cole taking you through the action. Then Division 5, of course, it is Killblue and Packer taking you through the action for that. And I really hope it is going to be fantastic racing for both Division 2 and Division 5. Campbell has already joined us there in the commentary box. We are waiting above and beyond, I think, for the other two. Connor and Justas, of course, to come into the pit lane. My voice, by the way, is absolutely shot, so hopefully Montana's going to be pulling his weight in terms of the interviews as well. But we'll wait on Connor and Justas. I'm probably sure they're probably having a debrief at this stage for them to come in before we get there. But I will come across to you, Montana, obviously. Final thoughts on what that race was, and overall, driver of the day?
Ooh, now you're putting me on the spot. That race was chaotic. Division 1, League of Europe, all in one, I would say. So yeah, pretty good race. Pretty much what France always delivers. Shit track in real life. Absolutely amazing track for league racing and DRS trains. So yeah, pull this weight again, and probably we'll see that in the future again on this track.
Yeah, definitely. So we do have Connor now in the commentary box with us, and Connor, honestly, you done me on that final lap of the race. I thought you weren't close enough down in towards turn number 8. You were close enough, and then you pulled off probably one of the best overtakes I think I've seen around France. Talk us through it, because that was just timed to absolute perfection.
Yeah, I thought I left it a bit too late. I left a bit of a gap. Kind of fucked the first sector a bit, but I had enough straight line speed and a full battery to use, so just use and abuse it until I had a chance to get ahead. But I don't know if Justas was low on battery or what, or had high wings, but I caught by quite a bit on the straight, more than I expected. But yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, I think we were comparing it up between you both towards the final couple of laps of the race, and Justas was running at around 40%, I think, less battery than you towards the end of the race. So obviously I think that battery usage that you obviously saved up throughout the course of the race and pretty much had 100% going on to the final 3 laps, that came into really good effect for you to get that race win.
Yeah, I didn't use the battery at all after lap 2. I tried to break the RS, which I did, but then it got back in it, so I didn't use battery again until the last lap, just to make sure I had a chance of fighting it. But it all went to plan. My plan was to be in second anyway in the first stint, but no one wanted to overtake me, so I just had to sit up front burning my battery so I couldn't save anything. But I was kind of happy when I got overtaken start the second stint. I could just control it from there, save the tyres, save the battery, and wait till I needed it.
Yeah, were you a bit shocked with Justas obviously overtaking you when he did? Because we were a bit shocked in the commentary box, thinking he could have just sat there waiting behind, and then it probably would have been completely different towards the end of the race.
Yeah, I was expecting him to do what I done, and if he did, I would have had to lift a bit on the straights and hope someone overtakes me to give me a chance. So I think it's a bit of a disadvantage to be first on the last lap, because DRS is just so powerful. There's not really much you can do to defend it, unless you get like a massive gap, like 7-8 tenths or something, but that's quite hard to do.
Yeah, absolutely unbelievable, I think, and that final lap overtake, I think, just sums it all up in terms of your race, because it was absolutely brilliant, controlled the race, and probably you're going to get my drive of the day as well. Montana, I'm going to come across to you. No NSX bias questions, please.
Oh, you just ruined all my questions following up. Connor, more than honored to see you back up here and your connection holding on as well.
Yeah.
And we had our last lap battles in France, I think like 3 or 4 times already. So yeah, what was some ended better than others. Yeah, did you ever think about going for the move on lap 26 or 25, trying to make the move early so you don't have to leave it to the last lap and then maybe pull a bit of a gap, or were you trying to?
I felt I had good enough pace to stick close enough to get the DRS. This is one of the first races I've done race practice, so I sort of knew what to expect. Because for some reason I was shit in qualifying last season, but good in the race, and now I'm good in qualifying, bad in the race. So I had to do a bit of work on the race practice or race setup, and it worked in qualifying, which I guess happy days. But try and do that next week wherever we are.
Yeah, we're gonna be in Portimao if James is correct.
Yeah.
Just a thing for the viewers so they can hear that. Because you outbraked Justas beautifully on the last lap, so people are eager to know if you're using ABS or not.
No, because I'm not a cheat. No, I'm just joking. No,
That was not the answer I was hoping for.
No, of course I do.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, use that ABS OP, brake 50 meters later.
No, that was an absolutely beautiful race, perfectly executed, and Portimao next. Have you even raced there before?
I don't think I've done a full dry race, so I don't really know what to. I like the track, but I haven't really had a chance or a reason to sweat it. So I guess I got that reason now. So we'll see what I can do next week. Maybe try and make it 3 out of 3 poles.
On it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure right. Yeah, I expect all the poles this season from you, to be honest. But yeah, if there's no Ariel shenanigans with slipstreaming and DRS going on, I think you will have a fair shot there, so good luck with that.
Yeah, and I think that marks all the questions, certainly from my end as well, so good enjoy evening, Connor.
Cheers. See you, boys.
Very welcome indeed, and Justas I don't think has joined the party if I'm not mistaken, so we'll move on swiftly to our man who finished in P3 of course, and that was Campbell. And Campbell, you've obviously seen that battle unfold in front of you going into the final lap of the race. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I just sat watched, and really I didn't really want to get involved because I wasn't as quick as they two in front. They were just a little bit quicker, so I had to use a bit more ERS, and I think I was higher on wings, so I couldn't save as well as they could, but I was able to follow quite nicely and just sit and watch really. I got a bit distracted coming from the chicane. I don't think you would have caught it, but I had a small moment on the exit, just watching the two of them side by side almost. A bit worried that Nathan would get me, but luckily he was far enough back. But yeah, I was never going to even think about getting involved with the two in front. I wasn't quite quick enough today for that. But
yeah, not quick enough on the day, but still, P3 for you out on track. Certainly the best result of the season so far. What was your aim actually coming into this race?
I've always enjoyed the track, always gone fairly well before, so top 5 probably would have been a realistic aim. But then when I properly started practice today, qualifying, I'll be honest, I didn't feel amazing, but the race, I just felt comfortable with the car. It's strange because tonight anyway, that was all the way around. I messed up pole at the last corner on my last run, and then in the race I just wasn't quite as quick as I was in practice, but I guess that's just how it goes with the pressure at the wheel session and stuff, so no, I'll take it. Yeah, I probably exceeded my aim for tonight, so but I'm not complaining.
Not complaining indeed, and of course, obviously going into Portimao next week, how do you approach obviously that race, considering now you've obviously got a podium this season? Is the pressure off a little bit?
100%. I didn't get one at all last season. It hurt a lot to not end up on any steps of the podium, so yeah, I feel like the burden's off my shoulders, so let's go and get another one.
Hopefully so, of course. Portimao, of course, will come up next week. Montana, I'm going to come across to you. Any questions?
Yeah, sure. You obviously got carried almost as hard by Connor and Justas this race as by Verstappen last season in Championship. But were you any time close to making a move on Connor and Justas in that race or not?
I was close, and I probably, if I wanted to interrupt them, the whole saving game, I could have, but I didn't really want to get involved because that just puts me at risk of an incident, and I was happy to sit behind. So there's a few times going to the straight, I would be 3/10 back, and I could have used to at least force something to happen ahead, but I guess you guys would have wished I did, but I wasn't planning on.
Alright, and looking forward to Portimao next week. Any high expectations?
A fun track. If I can get a setup that works, that would be great as well. And if my wheel doesn't overheat, that would be a nice bonus. So, an expectation, I guess it just is points, top 5, something like that. Just want to get consistency back, which is something I've missed for a long time. So.
Alright, congrats again on P3 then, and
thank you.
Good luck for the next race.
Yeah, thank you. Might need that.
Yeah, that's all it from me as well, Campbell. Go and enjoy your evening.
Yeah, thank you. Good night.
See ya. And that, I think, marks the end of the interviews. I don't think we're getting one from Justas. I know there was a problem with his headset, I think, last week when he came in for the interview for second. But that was the French Grand Prix. I really hope you enjoyed it. More action to come, of course, tonight on the LOE channel. Of course, it is Division 2 and Division 5. I've already said it once, but Daniel Hoggard and Jay Cole are going to be taking you through the action for Division 2, and Killer Blue and Packer going to be taking you through the action for Division 5 as well. Sure, more action to come. If it's anything like Division 1, it should be fantastic racing. I think Division 2 might just top the whole lot, I think, tonight in terms of the action there, especially from last week in Imola. Montana, of course, coming across to you. Driver of the day?
I think it's gonna be Connor. That was a dominance in a display there, so yeah, gonna go for Connor and Disconnection.
Yeah, completely agree, I think, with Connor. Drove a phenomenal race, tactically astute to absolute perfection, 100% got it right, and he took the win, obviously in France, and he gets my drive of the day as well. And that is the end for tonight's live stream. Really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, tick the notification bell, of course, if you are new. Myself and Montana will be back next week, of course, to cover the Portuguese Grand Prix, one of my favourite tracks to commentate on, and I cannot wait. Hopefully, with no lobby glitches, as I heard in PSGL last week, hopefully it is going to be a fantastic race, and hopefully there's going to be no slipstreaming, which forces drivers possibly to get some penalties like we had last season. But that is it from us. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.
Au revoir.